Hey guys, welcome back to Travel with Ima. Today I'm going to be answering a very important question. Can international students work in Cyprus? The short answer is yes. However, there are certain rules you must follow, and I'm going to answer that one after the other. Let's dive into it together. Yeah, so as an international student in Cyprus, you're allowed to work, but there are certain rules you must follow. First of all, you can only work 20 hours a week during your semester period, like when you're studying, and up to 38 hours a week when you're on the semester break, that is during the summer break. And that's it. And you must also have a valid residence permit, which usually take about 3 to 6 months once you apply for it when you first arrive on the island. And then also there are certain specific jobs you are only allowed to do. I'm going to read a list of it from here.
So guys, this is the official website of the Labour Ministry of Cyprus with a list of jobs that students are allowed to do. I'll leave the link in the description details for your review.
Firstly, you can only work at restaurants, cafes, bars. You could work as a waiter, waitress, or kitchen assistant. You can also work in the cleaning, housekeeping sectors. You can work as delivery. This foodie words, whatever. You can also work in warehouse or farm work, which is the seasonal jobs, and you can also work in the hotel or tourism industries. So all these jobs that I've mentioned, they pay between 5 to 7 euros an hour. So if you're working 20 hours a week, you'll be expecting to earn around 500 to 600 euros in a month, as it's a part-time job. That's during the 20 hours a week. And if you're working full-time up to 38 hours, you'll be earning about 800 to 1,000 euros, depending on the job you got. Now, one next question is, how do you get a job? How can you get a job when you come to Cyprus? The first thing I will recommend, you need to first, like I said, you need to start by registering yourself, getting a valid residence permit. A student residence permit is what allows you to work. Then also you're going to need a permit from the labor. The labor needs to approve your work permit. So once you, for example, get a job, your employer needs to send your residence permit, which is valid, to the labor with a contract which you're going to sign. The employer is also going to sign. And then once the labor office approves it, you can start working. Those are the legalities when it comes to working here in Cyprus. Yeah. So, but how do you find these jobs? The most important thing I think I would like to say here, based on my experience, is network. Like, your network will determine your net worth, is what they usually say. So you need to make sure that you have connections, make friends, don't be an island, ask questions. Friends that are already here on the island before you, they could easily recommend you to jobs. And in fact, many places these days, they do not post their jobs online. They ask their staffs to bring their friends to the job. So that way there's more integrity, there's more trust. So you need to make friends, especially with the locals here, people that could easily put the good words for you to these employers. Also, there are other forums where you could get the jobs from. Like, you could join groups on Facebook that talks about jobs in Cyprus, in the specific city you are in. So for example, jobs in Paphos, jobs in Nicosia, jobs in Larnaca. And since you know the kind of sectors you're working with the tourism, you're working with the hotel, you're working with the restaurants. So you can see restaurant jobs in Paphos, for example. You join the groups and you begin to follow up with the posts. They are always posting jobs. I would say the best time to get jobs is when the summer is just starting. So from the beginning of the summer, most employers are looking for workers. Like, there's usually a huge demand for workers during the summer, like a huge demand, because it really gets very busy. So you start looking for jobs from April. That's the period whereby you're about to round up your semester. The semester usually ends around May, June. So from April, you're already putting out your application. Have a very nice CV, and then you submit that here and there by email or whatever the employers require. Also, there's a specific site here. The most popular sites in Cyprus, which I cannot forget to mention, is Bazaraki. Bazaraki is just like an equivalent to gg.com in Nigeria, for example. So Bazaraki has everything you want, what you're looking for in Cyprus. For example, if you're looking for a job, it's got so many job postings on it, and employers use that very actively. If you're looking for an apartment, accommodation, and anything else you want to buy, it's all on Bazaraki.com. So that website or app, it's an app, it's also a website. It's it's sacrosanct when it comes to you finding a job or anything else in Cyprus. Yeah. One last thing you can do if you're looking for a job, apart from Bazaraki, apart from asking friends, apart from joining groups on Facebook and other social media, is you can actually walk into the establishment yourself in person. So I cannot stress this enough, because you can also go out there after making your applications online. Do not be lazy. Go out there, because to get the job is not that easy, but if you put in the effort, you're actually going to get it. as soon as you want. You could get a job within a month, it could be within a couple of weeks, it could be within 2 months, but it depends on how active you are in applying for these jobs, and depends on when you already have your legal documents for these jobs. So you could go to the restaurant, for example, walk into a restaurant. Sometimes you see their notice board, they are writing it there, staff wanted. You go walk in there, present yourself with a big smile. I always stress this most of the time to people. Having a big smile here can be the difference. If you just go there with a boring face, they're not gonna feel your energy to want to take you in. But if you come there with a good energy, a positive vibe, tell them you are looking for a job, they tell you to drop your details and they call you whenever they are in need. So walking to the places in person is also very, very good for you. Okay, so once you come to Cyprus, there are certain limitations that you should know. Don't think you're going to come here and work as a banker or work as an accountant. Maybe because in your previous work experience you were an accountant, you were a lawyer, you were these white collar jobs. You've got the experience. Don't think you're going to bring that and translate that here as a student. As a student, you are limited to the jobs you can do. So it's when you graduate you can be looking forward to bigger roles, white collar jobs. So as a student, you are not entitled to work in white collar roles. Okay, you're not allowed to work in the office. You're not allowed to work those high paying jobs. Just the part time, seasonal shift jobs. Those are the jobs you're allowed to do. So keep that in mind, and then you'll be fine. Also, you cannot open your own business. As a student, you are not allowed to open a business here. If you do that, to be illegal. So, but once you finish, yeah, you can think of starting up a business. Actually, some universities don't allow their students to work in the first semester. So the first semester is the period whereby you are trying to get to adapt, to get to know everything. So some universities will not allow you to work during this period, which is reasonable, yeah. So the last thing I would say is this: regarding working in Cyprus, it can take some time. You need to be realistic when it comes to coming to another country, getting a job, and all that. Do not have it at the back of your mind, oh, I'm coming here as a student, I'm gonna get super rich within the first few months or within a year. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna buy my own car, I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna buy that, I'm gonna be this, So you need to be very realistic. It's not gonna be that easy, but it's a process that if you follow, it's definitely gonna be worth it. It's gonna really reward you. So when it comes to getting a job here in Cyprus, working as a student, coming as a student from Nigeria or whatever country you're coming from in Africa or Asia, I would advise you to be very realistic with your goals. So expect to get a job. It might take you a month, it might take you 2 months, it might take you 3 months, it might take you more. So, but I would advise you to have your own means of sustenance within the first 6 months minimum. When you're coming to Cyprus as a student, I'm advising this: have your own means of sustenance for the first 6 months. Have enough money to take care of yourself for at least 6 months. Your feeding, your accommodation, your transport, and everything else you might need. I'll still create a video that talks about the living cost. That'll be my next video. The living cost in Cyprus as a student. What are the ways you can minimize your costs, how to manage yourself and be okay. So for the first 6 months, you need to be able to take care of yourself without getting a job here. So you might and you will probably get a job within the first 6 months if you are very active, but you must be willing to take care of yourself for the first 6 months minimum. Any country you're traveling to for the first time, it's always like this. It's going to be difficult in the beginning. So if you have enough to take care of yourself, you'll be just fine. And then once you get a job, you can move on from there. So for my final thoughts, can you work in Cyprus? The answer was yes. So, but there are certain limitations. Number one, you have to make sure you have your student residence permit. You have to make sure that the labor approves your work contracts and they approve your permit to work. You have to make sure that you follow the guidelines. There are certain jobs you're allowed and there are certain jobs you're not allowed. Apply for the jobs that are allowed for students. I've shown the list already from the official website of the Cyprus government. And also you have to be in the country at a specific time. Cyprus is always changing their laws, always upgrading their laws every 6 months to a year. So once you come in, you might not be allowed to work immediately, but as time goes on, it changes and then you're allowed to work. So the jobs in Cyprus for international students, it's part-time jobs mostly. It's seasonal jobs, it's contract jobs. It's not a full-time job that you work all year round, any 6 figures, no. But it's a job that will really help you. It's the job I did when I first arrived, and it has really helped me. It will help you to establish yourself. These jobs, like I said, pay 5 to 7 euros an hour. So it might not be a lot, but it's definitely going to help you cover your bills. It's going to help you put food and stay above water. So, and as time goes on, things tends to get better, okay? So I myself, I worked in a restaurant, I worked in a hotel, I worked at wedding event as a waiter, and it has been a very good experience for me. Yeah, I really had a good time. It's been amazing. It has really helped me cover so many bills and all that stuff. And I'm still here standing. I finished my studies now. Also, these jobs help you meet people. It has helped me meet people, and also have helped me to build myself, build my connection, build my network. And my employers, my colleagues, they've been very helpful around me. So getting a job helps you to get established in the country. So you start from somewhere and you begin to move up climb up the ladder until you get to where you're going to. So that's how it works here. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. Do like, subscribe, share the videos. If you have any question, if you have any other thing you would like me to talk about, maybe there's a topic I didn't touch in, just write it in the comment and I'll talk about it. Thank you so much and peace out.